Namaste, everyone. Welcome to the Cārvāka podcast. So, in my last podcast, Abhijit was trolling me and Harsh in the live stream, making absurd allegations against both of us. Um, so I was like, "Ek kaam kar, tu hi aaja." And today, what we're going to do is, uh, so it's very interesting. I think I consider myself somewhere in between Abhijit and Harsh in this, you know, yeah, this how do we deal with America? I think Harsh obviously has a slightly more hawkish view. I don't know what Abhijit's view is. Abhijit is definitely very pro Trump. Abhijit knows from day one I have never liked Trump. So I was like, let us talk about how India should deal and negotiate with Trump in this. I don't think this is a crisis. This is just Trump being Trump. I don't think it is a crisis. But Abhijit, the allegation has been Trump has derailed India-America relations completely. Do you accept that allegation prima facie?
No, I don't. And I'll tell you why. This is India America relations are based on a whole load of things. There is defense, there is common shared interests, etc. etc. Trade is one aspect of it. Okay. Now, for one thing to get into something and understand, he's not doing this only to India. There is not one country that he's not doing this to. Show me one country he hasn't threatened with all these trade ties in the past. So Britain has gotten it, Australia has gotten it, and they are as close as can be to America. So look, this isn't damage. eh, This is just a new reality you have to deal with. And we've seen this before. We've had cantankerous presidents before. Have I think people have forgotten Bill Clinton. Okay. And him imposing sanctions on India. Those were actual sanctions. These aren't sanctions, these are tariffs. And remember, before the WTO and GATT and things like that came about, these kind of tariff wars were very common. All we've done is we've gotten back into the pre GATT stage where there used to be tariff wars left, right, and center, and those were done. I think most economists weren't born in the 1980s and 70s when these tariff wars used to be extremely common because there was no globalized agreement. Now the problem is that America feels that this particular globalized agreement, which was the GATT का full form था, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade.
I remember this one. ये तो
See,
हम लोगों को कॉलेज में भी सिखाया गया था.
yes, that's because we're old. We're showing our age. You understand? Uh, yeah, and these things used to be there used to be trade wars between America and Japan. Okay, Korea, Japan, America, Korea, etc., etc. We've just reset back into the 80s, at least in terms of trade. Why? Because he wants a renegotiation. He thinks that whoever negotiated these trade deals did not do a good job negotiating. I disagree with that, but it is what it is. We're going to deal with this in our stride. Tell me, have you seen any example of immature foreign policy from our people, at least since Modi came to power?
No,
It's
I think
always,
we're very balanced.
we're very calm, we're very balanced, we use very temperate language. The only person we use, MK, type language for is for Pakistan in
Yeah,
public.
that is only left for them.
Even China, we don't use that kind of language.
Hmm.
And if you're telling me tariffs is somehow going to upset India's strategic priorities, especially the threat from China, I think, that's a bit of overstatement. It's a very significant overstatement.
What
Between,
do you make of Trump's comments here? Like we are a dead economy, we cannot buy Russian oil. Okay, why does Reuters do this? Abhijit, am I the only one noticing a pattern with Reuters now?
look, Reuters is a shitty organization. They've had this track record for a long time. Leave Reuters out.
Okay.
Okay. So leave Reuters out because they are what they are. They can't help themselves. They're shitty. You saw that piece that they put out on the Rafale again yesterday. There was absolutely nothing new in it. It was the same 3-month-old story that they regurgitated and put out. Tell me one thing about that story that was new. Nothing. Why do we give these organizations so much importance? Let's focus on what is actually happening, which is India and Trump. All right. Now, Trump likes to वो क्या match, cricket match में what do they call it when you abuse each other?
Sledge.
Sledging,
Shit
sledging.
talking. अमेरिका में उसको shit talking बोलते हैं.
Yeah, shit talking. He likes doing shit talking just to get the opponent off balance and get them to the negotiating table. Ultimately, what happens after sledging also? You shake hands and then your friends in the dressing room. Na?
Yeah. You have a
Yeah,
beer.
that's it. You have a beer. That's it. See, I would any day prefer Trump's kind of straight up shit talking approach than say what the Democrats were doing, which was undermining the state through all kinds of NGOs and USAID and things like that. See, that was a threat to the state. This is not a threat to the state. This is a disagreement. This is like saying that every fight between husband and wife is going to end in divorce. Husbands and wives have fights. Okay, it does not end in divorce. And as things go, this is a very simple fight about, oh, I asked you to do this last week and you didn't do it, and therefore I want this week. This isn't you went and slept with somebody else, therefore our marriage is over. Have America's strategic priorities shifted? No. Is China still enemy number one for them? Yes. Is China still enemy number one for you? Yes. Is China still stronger than you? Yes. Is China still the primary strong threat to America, to American dominance? Yes. Is America diverting resources away from China in the fight against Russia and Ukraine? Yes. Look, there is a video I'm going to send you.
Okay.
I want you to play it because everybody seems to think
Twitter DM पे भेज. Twitter DM.
what is being sent on the tweets are more aggressive than the actual language, and I'll show you why. Yeah, one
Because it's
second.
easier to share if you send it on a Twitter DM.
Yes, I know. One second. I'll just put it up. Twitter DM Kushal. I'll send it to you in Kushal, okay? Just videos take longer to upload on Twitter than they do.
हाँ कोई बात नहीं.
Okay.
देख मेरे I'll make my point. I have a 2-3 points that I actually wanted to clarify with you. See, I understand what you're saying. It's actually a very rational argument you're making that has the pole position as far as China is concerned changed? No, it's not changed. I actually 100% am in agreement with you, and I never let my personal dislike for Trump come in between this. But the thing is, needling us on Russian oil is not on. Because America buys Russian uranium. America supports Pakistan. Why are they saying we are supporting the war in Ukraine when America is literally bailing out Pakistan? So how are these public remarks being taken? Plus, using senators to make those anti-India remarks, getting people to make those remarks, though that is not fair, right?
Agreed. But so far, what has been made, it has just been remarks. This wasn't using NGOs to undermine us like Obama and COVID doing. Remember that. Remarks are very easy to deal with. There is a reason we are not going public. We're keeping our diplomacy very close to our chest. And we're doing it very silently. What we do, there is no panic in South Block. I spent the last 2-3 days more just going around South Block, North Block, finding out ki bhai kuch hai. There is no panic out there. They're like, yaar, again, this thing. It's more of a nuisance value for them than it is anything serious for them.
Okay, chal, let me play that video now for you.
Yeah.
ठीक है? चल, ये वीडियो मैं प्ले कर रहा हूँ. चल यार. Why is it not loading? Mhm. Sorry, yaar. Wait. Let me figure this shit out. I will
Let me
have to
send it
re-
to WhatsApp. It'll actually be easier.
Okay, WhatsApp पे भेज.
ठीक है.
ये पता नहीं क्या होता है यार, कभी-कभी ये.
So Twitter DM is that way problematic. Let me just
Yeah,
send
it's
it on.
very shitty, Sala Twitter. Yeah, send it to me on WhatsApp and I will download it and upload it over here.
I know. भेज दिया.
Thanks. All right. Downloading it. Downloading it. Where download? ये WhatsApp अब आया ऑप्शन डाउनलोड का. Download done. Now uploading video file.
So what is that additional penalty? And are other countries
अबे
facing the same threat?
Well, we're negotiating right now, and it's also BRICS. You know, they have BRICS, which is basically a group of countries that are anti the United States, and India is a member of that, if you can believe it. It's an attack on the dollar, and we're not going to let anybody attack the dollar. So it's partially BRICS, and it's partially this trade situation. It's the deficit. We had a tremendous deficit. So, as you know, Prime Minister Modi is a friend of mine, but they don't do very much business in terms of business with us. They sell a lot to us, but we don't buy from them. You know why? Because the tariff is so high. They have one of the highest tariffs in the world. Now they're willing to cut it very substantially, but we'll see what happens. We're talking to India now. We'll see what happens. It doesn't matter too much whether we have a deal or whether we charge them a certain tariff, but you'll know at the end of this week. August 1st is a very big day for this country because money is going to pour into the United States like we've never seen before. Yes, ma'am.
Now, I don't understand Trump here. Can I just say the only member of the BRICS that is saving the dollar is India, because India
Yes.
prefers dealing in the dollar. So what is he
Yes.
talking about? Like, again, yaar, यही तो मेरी problem है. ये क्या बोलता है?
Listen, you think he doesn't know that?
Actually, yeah, he does. He's not as stupid as he pretends to be.
He's not as stupid as people think he is.
That I'll give it to you. I'll grant that to you.
Okay. Now, the thing is, this has always been his style. He'll deliberately make a statement like this in order to get negotiating advantages, because he wants to seem tough when he gives in. Okay. Now, everybody that he's negotiated with, Bangladesh has accepted 20% tariff. Vietnam has accepted some percentage of tariff. EU has accepted 15% tariff. EU tariff technically should have been higher. If you look at the amount of subsidies they give, it is just insane. But they have. They're giving him what he wants. And listen, he's not wrong. We are one of the most heavily tariffed countries on earth.
I will give him that also. I think
Yeah.
I was one of the first people along with you who said, thank you, Trump. At least now we'll reduce this tariff hellhole and we'll get some good technology in India. And now we'll have to be forced into reforms. Which, see, you know it, I know it. The Modi government wanted all these reforms to be done, and the bureaucratic class always creates roadblocks in this
Yes.
country.
Yes.
And I know people find it hard to believe ki how can a prime minister be overrun by the babus? They don't understand governance in this country. They keep talking weird nonsense in this country. The babus are really powerful people, and I'm glad Trump is doing this. Trump ye kar raha hai. So that also I accept. But what I'm not able to understand is that, listen, you are privy to the bits and bobs of the negotiation. I am privy to bits and bobs. The three people negotiating, we're not taking their name, on behalf of India, are seasoned negotiators. These are one of
Yes.
the good ones. These are one of the
Yes.
good ones we have. We have given them concessions in agriculture, Abhijit. You know it, I know it.
Yes.
We have given them significant concessions.
Yes.
How can we give in to that shitty dairy demand about their beef laden problem in their milk? Yeah, how are they being so unreasonable? How can Trump be so ridiculous?
Listen. Okay. Now, this is where there are two issues happening out there. The first is our ambassador there isn't doing his job. He was always very anti-America. The Americans hated him. He hated America. And as far as I know, ministers are directly calling their counterparts. They're bypassing the ambassador because he's not very good. But leave that aside. I'm where the negotiating comes on dairy. I am of the opinion, do to dairy what you did to Harley Davidson. You remember the last time you wanted Harley Davidson let in? We let Harley Davidson in. What happened to Harley Davidson?
कुछ नहीं हुआ, किसी ने नहीं खरीदी.
Nobody bought it. Nobody bought it. Why? Because we have Royal Enfield.
Yeah,
which
we
is
have
way
a
better.
nice product.
It's a much better product. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a classy product. Harley Davidson is run by biker gangs, tattoos, druggies out there. That is not the biker culture here. The biker culture here is, rich uncles and aunties who have a midlife crisis. Yeah, abroad you go buy a Lamborghini. Here you buy a Royal Enfield. Okay. And young educated people who want that patina of class because it's one of those old world products you can buy. Now, you bring their dairy. See, this is the thing. Sometimes we don't understand our own strengths at times. I am of the opinion you should bring their milk in. And the Farmers Association of India runs a campaign completely destroying it, saying these are cows that are fed beef, which they are. Leftover cattle, this thing is processed and put into cow food, which is then those cows, I've seen them in dairies in America. They can't, if you don't put beef in their food, they won't eat it. They are addicted to cannibalism right now. How do you think that quality of milk out there, milk that comes out of those jerry can kind of things, it's so thick. How do you think it's so thick? It's all the fat content and things like that, which is clearly there's some kind of input happening out there, right? तुम बस जाके इधर just go tell our people what goes into that cow's food. Open up the tariffs.
यार मगर कांग्रेस बोलेगी ना एंटी हिंदू ये एंटी हिंदू वो, politically destroy हो जाएगी बीजेपी. How can the government allow that?
There is it being explained to the Americans. See, one thing I've noticed with India's negotiating position, we frequently suffer at negotiating because we always portray strength. We don't want to portray our actual weaknesses at times, saying, listen, this is a culturally sensitive issue. They'll talk about the economic issue and the farmers being protected. They won't talk about the fact that you feed your cows beef. And if it comes in, what we need to do is, we don't need to say no or whatever. You just get some sadhu maharajas to start the protest up. And it's also very simple. You can let the beef in and the milk in and say these cows, you have to label it as non-veg milk and say it has been fed beef. You have to label it that way. Then what happens? See, there are always solutions to things.
यार Indian law में beef is not allowed in many states.
Yes.
बस खत्म. वो states अपनी federal government allow कर दे, state governments not allow कर दे.
So hand the responsibility over to the state government.
All BJP states ban them. Kerala के ऊपर छोड़ दो.
केरला पे छोड़ दो ना.
केरला बोलेगा हम beef वाला दूध पिएगा.
And see, so you can let that happen. Now, see, international agreements, the only thing you specify then is you have to specify what the cow has been fed. And it will be tested because understand, when a cow eats that kind of meat, the proteins and things in the milk will always show signs of your क्या कहते हैं, of your diet. So it can be tested. See, there are solutions to everything. I am not worried about this.
Okay, so let's now look at probable things that India So I can give you tangible things, strawberries, blueberries, stuff like that. India has actually agreed to open the market up, because honestly, India should open the market up. On cars and multiple components, India has dropped the duties down. With Tesla, the Indian condition is you manufacture in India, you're free to take benefits of everything. India has agreed to almost everything. This milk bit is the sticking point. Now let us look at this Russian oil thing. We've clearly stood up to them and said no on the Russian oil bit. Now, how do you think we should handle this entire Russia saga? How do we actually sit down with Trump and tell him?
Again, it's very simple. It's very simple. We can't subsidize your wars. So sure, we'll stop buying Russian oil if you get your allies to offer us oil at the same prices.
Or you offer us oil at the same price.
Or you offer us oil at that price. It's that simple. Or we will shift our oil purchases, but you have to subsidize us for the money that we've lost buying Russian oil.
Do you think America can do that?
No, they can't. That's the point. No. But they'll also accept it's a loss that we have to bear. So once you accept that, it comes the principle of compensation. Why should we pick up slack for your, why should we pay the price for your foreign policy goals?
So now the biggest thing, I think the biggest thing which nobody wants to talk about, only Shiv has raised this point in the mainstream media, and credit to Shiv. He said, and I agree with Shiv, it's not about the Russian oil. It's not even about the dairy. The biggest boo-boo for America is because they know where the big bucks are when it comes to India. India is today one of the largest buyers, net importers of defense equipment in the world. Today, even at this economic level. And it's scheduled to increase its purchases. America doesn't like the fact that we don't buy from them. Is that the real sticking point in your... That's Shiv. Shiv ने उसके ऊपर एक पूरा segment किया था.
I agree with that. I agree with that. It's that we don't buy enough of their equipment. And
but तू बोलता उनकी equipment reliable नहीं है. तूने खुद ने criticize किया उनकी equipment को.
No, I never said their equipment isn't reliable. I just
in
said
terms of interrelatedness with our system.
That is not reliability. That is interconnectivity. So it is not compatible with our Russian sourced equipment. And they won't let you integrate it with your Russian sourced equipment. It's very reliable. It's very good. But they won't let you integrate it with your Russian sourced equipment. Okay. So again, but notice they are not going to raise this in defense or foreign policy. They want any tension to only stay in the silo of trade. Because it is when you start infecting it into the foreign policy and a defense policy silo, that is when political trust is lost. Because Modi keeps saying, it's like, oh, we've got Modi's my great friend, Indians are great, whatever. He's very clear about that. He never raises defense and foreign policy. There is a foreign policy aspect in that it is our close ties with Russia, but it has been isolated to Russian purchase of oil. Not that we have good ties with Russia. Have you seen him raise the fact that we import arms from Russia? He's not talking about that.
Is it about the F-35?
No, look, would they like us to buy more arms? Yes. Is it a proximate cause that because we're not buying as much arms as they would like, that the trade imbalance is very high? Yes. Is it the direct cause? No. And the very fact that he's not taking this to the foreign policy sphere or the defense policy sphere shows you that he's not interested in horizontal escalation. Horizontal escalation is when vertical escalation is where you slap me and I slap you back, I punch you in your nose. Okay, so I've returned a slap with a punch, and then I take a If I want to escalate it more, I take my electric mosquito swat, and come trying to threaten to electrocute you. Okay. Um, Horizontal escalation is where then I come and start, throwing dung at your house, throwing dung at your car, pouring kerosene on your car and setting it alight, in all kinds of other things. So they are only doing vertical escalation on trade. That is it. So I am not buying this story that the relationship has been irretrievably damaged. Our foreign and defense policy has been affected because of it. Bollocks.
So I hear that we are demanding, especially on the F-35, we are demanding complete technology transfer, and they are not agreeing to that.
Look, first of all, let's be very clear. We don't really want the F-35.
Okay, so that's why we are asking complete technology transfer,
Yeah,
because we know they are going to say no.
exactly. Look, you start with an unrealistic negotiating position.
It's a
You
cheap
get tired and you walk off. You know you're not going to get it. You know the way the industrial structure is. You understand? It is not America's technology to give. It belongs to Lockheed Martin. Even if America authorizes it, which they won't, Lockheed Martin will never agree to give it to you.
So, okay, now I want to touch upon the one thing that has bothered me in this Trump administration is this hyphenation with Pakistan, re-hyphenation with Pakistan. What do you make of that?
I think that is actually a diplomatic blunder on his part. But he's done it because of his megalomania and he wants to get some Nobel Prize. He's also very happy that the Pakistanis have nominated him for the Nobel Prize, not that a Pakistani nomination counts for much. But this is where I guess his personal corruption comes in, because these crypto bros, Pakistani crypto bros, got to him quite early. And you never used your own resources to get to him early. You thought that, having Tulsi, Usha Vance and things like that was enough. Clearly it was not. Especially when you add it to an ineffectual ambassador.
Listen, Tulsi, Usha Vance and all those other things have helped us in terms of curbing the, extradition bits a lot. We cannot say FBI has not contributed there.
Exactly. So understand that is a different thing that is playing out at a different level. Are we being denied the F-35? No. If anything, Trump wants us to buy F-35. If anything, Trump will be telling his defense department, sure, give them more technology as long as it gets us a sale. If you go ask for American crown jewels, there's never been a better time to ask for American crown jewels within reason. So their three oldest friends would be who? Japan, Australia, and the UK. What they're not willing to give those three countries, you can't possibly expect. But can you expect what they're willing to give those three countries? Yes. Okay. So understand, everything is relative to, and the issue that I have with the Indian commentariat is this one issue seems to have this plus, the hyphenation of India and Pakistan over Sindoor seems to have completely unrealistically eclipsed all the gains that have happened in the months prior to that, which was in terms of extradition and things like that. Gurupatwant Pannu today is shit scared for his life because he doesn't know when Trump is going to arrest him and hand him over to India. Going around with more security than he was when Biden was in power. So understand, there's a balance about things. We shouldn't blow up one vertical and say it has completely, eclipsed every other vertical out there. There are several verticals. There are several silos under which the relationship operates. Are we irritated by him hyphenating us? Absolutely. Is it clumsy of him? Absolutely. Is it deliberate mischief? Possibly. Yeah, sure. I'll accept that. But again, you remember we had this discussion when we discussed Operation Sindoor and how it ended. We ended it on our own terms. Our terms on day 3 were the same as day 1. You will cease operations against us and we will agree to a ceasefire. We did not want to escalate it. We were ready to stop on day 1 if they had not responded to those 21 hits on terror madrasas. Correct? That was all that happened. Did we ever escalate our demands? Did we say after that? Did we say on day 2, oh no, you have to give us 15 square kilometers of territory? No, we didn't.
So, in short, you're actually kind of saying what I'm saying. We have to be careful and we have to tire Trump's team out. That's the only way out of this.
Yeah.
Just keep on prolonging it.
He did it the last time also, bro. Last time also, he was threatening us with all kinds of trade sanctions, this and that. We tired him out. We let Harley Davidson in. What happened to Harley Davidson? I'm even to this day, I'm saying, get the milk in. Okay. The BJP states will say you have to put clear beef or we can't allow this. The Congress states, because they are so pro-beef right now, they will say, yes, we will sell it, whatever. Then use the agriculturalist card against them. You are anti-dairy farmer. Karo.
Yeah, for a change, our federal polity will be useful.
Irrespective, understand, this is very good for the Indian consumer because we have such a heavily distorted market where all kinds of inefficient production, through inflation, we are essentially subsidizing inefficient third-rate producers of goods. If those prices come down, it is a net benefit for the Indian consumer. And if the Indian manufacturer and farmer is not able to keep up, it is not our duty to keep subsidizing their inefficiency and incompetence ad infinitum.
Okay. We will take questions, but last, your summary of how would...
Mind you, there are some Indian farmers who do amazing work.
Yes.
The ones who have taken it upon themselves to improve their own lot.
Yes.
There are some Indian dairy companies that do amazing work. That is, this is why, for me, as far as we are concerned, for the average Indian consumer, it's a win-win situation.
Okay. We'll take questions. One last thing. Now, your tangible step-by-step solutions, 5-10 minutes may explain kar, and then we'll take questions and then we'll wrap it up. Because I don't want this to be more than an hour. It has to be precisely under an hour.
Tangible end kya?
Tu kya karega? Last step-by-step solutions. Give a road forward with Trump.
Road forward is negotiate with him, take a 10-15% tariff hike. Even up to, listen, like we discussed the last time we discussed this with Harsh, I think it was. The tariff hit at 26%. Remember, the first round of tariffs he had proposed were 26%. If you look at the list of exclusions, the total tariff hit to us was something like $3.5 billion. Do you remember that? There was a chart we had put up at that time.
Yes.
Remember?
This
is actually 1% less. You bring it down to about 20%, which I believe is much more reasonable and in line with everybody else. You're still perfectly safe. It is not that big of a hit. The point is you want to get to an agreement fast. What is going against you is the fact that several other countries, the longer you prolong this without agreement, the weaker and weaker your negotiating hand gets. Speed is of the essence out here. Are you going to have to pay tariffs? Absolutely. The secret lies in the negotiating list, where in the exclusions list, where you can also claim victory, he can also claim victory. Your total payment is something like $3 to say $5 billion a year, but in return you get a lot more.
Fair enough.
Maybe we've lost that advantage as far as textiles went, because remember, Bangladesh was on the 36% category. We were in the 26% category. Because they negotiated very rapidly, they've now settled for 20%. How is it that they managed to negotiate and settle quicker than we did? Why?
बांग्लादेश के बहुत सारे इनपुट कॉस्ट हमारे ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है और हमने वो इंक्रीज कर दी हैं। भाई तू ये भूल रहा है।
That's also true. Yeah.
बहुत सारे बांग्लादेश के इनपुट कॉस्ट आर सो ओपनली डिपेंडेंट ऑन इंडिया। इट्स ट्रस्ट मी, ये मेरी इंडस्ट्री है।
I know.
It's not that easy. It's not that easy. And I actually believe
I'm talking about the negotiating angle. You understand?
they are that I
So they've
accept.
done a much better game in terms of bringing those negotiations to a rapid end than we have. Is this a new world where GATT won't matter and there will be bilateral wars? Yes. Have we reset to the 70s and 80s? Yes.
Yeah, as they say, either Trump will be the best thing since sliced bread or he'll be a disaster for America. Only time will tell.
Yes.
All right, चल मैं अभी questions लेना शुरू करता हूँ. From the first one to the last one. Do you think what do you make of this rising xenophobia against Hindus in the West? Is this the West still reliable ally for Bharat?
Yes,
They,
and I'll tell you,
yeah,
yes,
obviously. I live
why.
here.
There is a huge amount of anti-Semitism in the West, but
Yes.
they are now doubling down on their support for Israel militarily and politically, the Americans.
Yes.
So let's keep things in check.
Perspective,
yeah. You can't extrapolate this one thing to everything.
Yeah. This is a good question. In your opinions, any real chance that Trump phenomenon forces Indian babudom to adopt some reforms? Or this will be another... I think this is actually happening.
I hope so. See, unfortunately for me, if you to, I mean, I don't think, I think every one of our regular viewers knows how much I hate the babudam. But if you ask me to take a bet between the wiles of Trump or the wiles of babudam, I will bet on the babudam. Trust me on this.
Indian babus always win.
वो इतने कुटिल लोग हैं कि वो ट्रंप के गांड में सांप घुसाएंगे और ट्रंप को पता भी नहीं चलेगा कि उसके गांड में सांप घुसा पड़ा है.
और वो पत्र व्यवहार करने में एक्सपर्ट है. पत्र व्यवहार करने में.
So I don't think Trump realizes, and unfortunately we're saddled with the babudam, but maybe it's a good thing also. I don't know. The Indian babudam has its uses.
Yes.
Do I hope that he forces reform down their throat? Yes. Like I said, I'm not seeing this in the kind of negativity that most of you are seeing this. It's just that simple. It's a question of, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you're right. I don't know, but that's just my perspective on things.
Have Trump and White House succeeded in rehyphenating India and Pakistan? Will it now mean India needs to start the dehyphenating process again?
To understand why he started with the hyphenation. It's so that India will have to climb more hoops. They will have more negotiating tools. We will then bring in, oh, you have to dehyphenate us. Why? Why should we dehyphenate you? This is a price. You have to pay the price for it. So stop hyphenating us and Russia. How do you do that? So understand, it's the beginning of a negotiating position.
Yeah. And don't you think people should have a little bit of faith in, irrespective of the government in the country? Like 1971, India did not bow down to America. These idiots think that 2025 India will bow down to America. We are actually a middle power now. पहले तो हम middle power भी नहीं थे. अभी तो middle power तो है हम.
And this is irrespective of who's in government. Manmohan Singh got us a much, much better nuclear deal than Vajpayee ji had gotten. And you should always, this is why, when
credit
people
where it's due.
things about Manmohan Singh, it really hurts. He was a good man.
Yes.
Sure, he had no control when it came to domestic policy, but as far as international policy went, he negotiated absolutely brilliantly for India.
And the BJP was wrong in opposing him on the nuclear
BJP
deal.
was, I told you, that is why I voted against the BJP that time.
Yeah.
They actually went and voted for the Congress, willingly voted for the Congress, felt very happy voting for the Congress at that time, because BJP opposing the nuclear deal was a very bad thing.
Okay. Do you think this has already spilled over in other areas and not just trade? He's making comments on Indian defense. Are we not being naive by saying this is just trade? Again, good question.
What has he said on Indian defense?
Honestly, he just says, I mean, He just says things.
He
That's
just
all I
says,
know. Okay,
he just
this is
says,
this is the key. What do you say to folks who want India to assuage Trump's ego? Like even Seema Sirohi, who I respect a lot. I read Seema regularly. I really have a lot of respect for her. She's a Washington person. She has inside information also. Like she also said कि यार कुछ तो बोल दो उसको assuage करने के लिए. हम तो कुछ भी नहीं बोल रहे उसको. वो ऐसे बोल रहा है एक एक दे दे मेरे को एक. हम लोग बोल रहे नहीं देंगे. So this is a genuine view.
okay, yes and no. I think it should have been that, Modi should have just scheduled a weekly call with Trump and called him up.
यार मोदी जी ने
That
भी फोन
said,
नहीं लिया.
I think it is now politically at the point of an impossibility. But do I think one call from Modi will sort out the issue? Yes. Is it politically possible? No. I think that is where Trump has made the blunder in his so-called art of the deal. He's taken it to the point where India cannot make a concession, even if it wants to make that concession.
Yeah. I think he overplayed his hand.
He overplayed his hand.
And the US senators giving new threats on news does not help. He's not realizing him doing it is fine. Then he makes his senators do it. That is not fine.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 minute. Who is advising Trump that taking a pro-Pakistan stand will actually put pressure on India? They essentially did that until 2013 and it only drew India closer to countries like Russia. It's actually drawing India and China closer. Does Trump realize that?
It's not really drawing us and China closer, by the way. We're not coordinating with China at all, incidentally. Does he realize that? I don't know. But I think you need to remember that in 2013, that closeness was a different kind of closeness. It was weapon supply, it was diplomatic support and things like that. This time it is not. Okay, again, keep things in perspective. You look at the kind of support Pakistan used to get in 2013, it is very different. Here, it is getting a ceasefire and getting the army chief in for a meeting of which no photos are allowed to be taken is not the same as rocking up in Pakistan and shaking hands on camera with people, providing them with F-16s and things like that. Completely different ball game. Don't confuse the two.
Do Trump's rants seem more than trade and Russia?
Obviously, he's cantankerous. It's there's probably some element of personal pique about why Modi hasn't picked up the phone and called him. But it's but he, like we said, he created that situation where if Modi now picks up the phone, he will seem like the supplicant. And your ambassador there has not built any favor bridges for him to get the message across that Trump should maybe call Modi.
Are Trump's negotiation tactics going to work with India? I genuinely don't think it's working.
Not the absolute worst person out there at a time when you needed your best person out there.
Okay, somebody has pushed back on your disagree with Abhijit ji on dairy. There are ample number of people who consume beef, dairy just out of spite and some out of necessity.
Yes, I agree. The question is, does that breach the market barrier of profitability? I'm sure there would have been enough people that wanted to buy Harley Davidson to show off certain things. Does it make Harley Davidson profitable in India? No. When you say you're sure there are enough, what do you mean by enough? Does it breach the market barrier for the cost of transport of that dairy out here? And understand, dairy transport is very difficult. First, it has to be transported by ship. Air transport will be prohibitively expensive. It has to be kept chilled, super chilled for that period of transport. What are all the costs? Assume it is air transport. At what cost? You're going to have air transported milk. And understand, what will beef dairy do to all your halal this thing? The same people who want to consume it out of spite, you can equally spread a rumor about the halal thing. Is the beef halal beef? Then you're fed cannibalized halal beef. Is cannibalism allowed in halal?
Okay.
और
What do you
अगर
make?
नहीं होता है, then use the old British tactic in 1857 or what our people used in 1857 से उसको सुअर का मीट भी खिलाया गया है.
Hmm.
How do you
What?
know what is in that? Do you know if it is beef in that? There might
Ek
also be
WhatsApp, one WhatsApp campaign is enough in India.
one WhatsApp campaign is more than enough.
अच्छा, ये राहुल गांधी का क्या बोलेगा तू? Somebody has asked, like, what is Rahul's end game? Is this like a normal thing for a leader of opposition? I'm so disappointed in Rahul. Did you read Tavleen's scathing piece? Tavleen really took Rahul to the ringer.
So I want to condemn you and Tavleen on this. I think Rahul Gandhi is a great leader. I think he's a future prime minister. I think he's very scholarly. I think he's very restrained. I think he's very perspicacious. And I can't recommend him enough. I truly see echoes of his great-grandfather in him.
Okay, I'm just going to ignore your Ghatia response. Okay, this is a good question. What about, see, I can't take all
you're
super
such a fascist. Just because I said something you don't like, you call it a Ghatia response.
चुप हो जा तू. What about forcing Apple not to invest in India? This is a serious thing. And hire Indians in US tech companies. How is that a negotiating tactic? Now, this is where I agree with Harsh. If they do this, we say, तुम्हारी big tech band. We have the biggest hukum ka ikka to deal with this.
Listen, do you know how big of a market India is for Amazon, Meta, YouTube, and all these people? What if you take away their right to make profit out here? What do you think they're going to do? Amazon is run by Jeff Bezos, who runs Washington Post. They're working, by the way, on a common Indian marketplace to replace Amazon. That is in the works. What if they just launch an antitrust? And you know, Amazon is back to its old tricks. You remember I'd complained on Twitter some 3-4 years back about how I had to go to Google and search for a product on Amazon because Amazon wasn't showing me, even though there were products selling on Amazon. Amazon wasn't showing me what I wanted to see. It was only showing me what it wanted to show me. Then after the Competition Commission of India came after them, they changed. Now they're back to it. If I file a complaint again, what do you think is going to happen to Amazon? Do you know the kind of fines that are going to be levied on Amazon? It will destroy their profitability. Listen, I don't think people realize how much of American tech testicle is in India and what we can do.
Okay, this question is also good. Why is it so difficult to change the ambassador when he or she is not in the country's interest? What is this cronyism in the Ministry of External Affairs?
Ask the MEA. Please go ask Jaishankar. Please
Now,
go ask. I've told you, some brilliant people in the MEA, but unfortunately, a majority of them are whatever. How did someone like this get a posting in the to DC of all places, which is the plummest of plum postings? Please go ask the powers that be. I certainly didn't make this, but I can tell you from my interactions with the Americans that they've hated this man since he was JS America. I was JS in the PMO. This was something like 10 years back. Okay. Since it wasn't just the American embassy out here that used to keep bitching about him. It was literally people in state and Pentagon I used to meet who would have nothing but visceral hatred for him. And in their opinion, they were just reciprocating the obstructionism. He would refuse to meet. He wouldn't talk to them properly. Any solution they gave, he used to throw up 100 new problems. There were all kinds of things that, it is literally, I'll tell you, Vinay Quatra becoming ambassador to America is like appointing Sadhvi Pragya ambassador to Pakistan.
Okay. So last two questions and then we'll go. Why are we not suing GM for not delivering the engines they promised in the contract? Why would they not sue us if the situation were reversed?
Because there wasn't. Their contract was very, very clear. Angad, who you get on this program, had written this somewhere 8 years back, that this timeline is not realistic, because GM very clearly had said in the first year only you're getting one engine. Now you have that one engine. Even with that one engine, that one Tejas, you haven't handed over, by the way, to the Air Force. Next year, you will get two engines. The year after that, also, you will get two engines. So, on what basis had they promised this delivery schedule to the government? Okay. So, you had a contract. So, if you are so convinced about your case, sue GE, na? What is preventing you from suing GE? If you're not suing GE and you're so convinced in your case, it means some palms have been greased at HAL. So there are only two explanations. One is HAL is lying, or HAL has taken money to shut up. There has been personal corruption at HAL. Figure it out which one it is.
Why F-35 and C-130 and others are much more lucrative?
What do you mean lucrative?
I don't know.
Kapil, you have to clarify this question. What does lucrative mean? It is not lucrative for us. It costs more, but then it performs much better. Understand that. The flying characteristics and the advertised performance are actually what is the performance, as opposed to Russian platforms which have highly variable performance.
So this guy has sent this one super chat. It has nothing to do with anything. This I left it for the last, and I'm literally breaking my rule because unrelated questions are never taken. मगर इसने 7 बार ये super chat दिया तो मैं तरस खा के ये कर रहा हूँ. Hi Abhijit, my wife is an excellent chef. We also live in NCR. She would love to cook for you. How do we contact you? I hate doing this. I'm only doing this because this person has done it 7 times.
Okay, excellent. I love these kind of, if anybody's inviting me to their house for dinner, I think you should put it up. They shouldn't have to do it in a super chat. It should just be do it in regular chat. Just email me at abhijit@ipcs.org.
There you go.
Abhijit is spelled here, huh? इधर जो spelling है ना, वो वाला. abhijit@ipcs.org.
Okay. Chalo. We'll wrap it up, guys. Thank you very much for all the questions. I've actually answered all of them. Just one question was asked to me where somebody had questioned me saying that you say tire them out, but also do it fast. I never said do it fast. My whole thing is no, don't. Let him tariff us. Let us do some things against him. He's not going to tariff us beyond a point and it's going to come back to normal because you have to tire him out. Don't rush into a deal if you want to have a good deal with Trump, is my answer. That was my answer. Question was directed at me. That's why.
And so let me also clarify. There were the exclusions and there were not exclusions. In the things that were excluded, you could be very chilled out and calm. Where there were no exclusions, for example, textiles and things like that, you need to settle it fast. Because the more other people settle, the less he's willing to give you, because the market space in America has shrunk based on those guys. What is he offering in return? Essentially, he wants you to pay a thing for accessing the American market. That's all. It's hafta. It's hafta vasuli of that kind. Now, if everybody else is paying hafta, then your value has gone down. You are the last player in the market. You will be charged the most. So understand where your strengths are, where you can tire him out, where you shouldn't be tiring out. You should settle for rapidly.
All right. We'll wrap it up over there, guys. So I would also request all of you to watch the last podcast with Harsh Madhusudan Gupta. Watch this. Both Abhijit and Harsh have their own views. I have shared bits and bobs here and there of my own views. And let us know what you guys feel in the comment section. And as always, go follow Abhijit on X. You can also follow.
Please understand, what I say is absolute God-revealed truth. Harsh Madhusudan is a paid agent of the Indian Merchants Association, and he is part of the conspiracy of the merchant elders of Hindustan.
Yes.
Do not listen to him, only listen to me, okay?
Yes. Chalo, we'll end up on that very obnoxious
Remember, I'm much fairer than him, so I must be true.
Yes. Oh, that is so true. Okay. अभी बस हो गया. चलो, bye guys, take care.